Namaste Yinsters, another yin practice for you today. This time we're getting into the hips. This is going to get our gallbladder and our liver line, and also just open up those hips and make you feel really good. Feel free to put your nice comfy cozy clothes on because we're just going to be hanging out in some lovely delicious poses for 3 to 5 minutes each. Let's do it. Right, so the first pose we're going to come into is our good old thread the needle. And there's a couple of options as well for those of you that this maybe doesn't feel the most comfortable for. First of all, I'll get you into the first option, the most common one. So coming onto your backs, right ankle comes over, crosses over that left leg. And see how you feel here. If this feels pretty comfy, then we're going to thread our right hand through the hole of the legs there. Either grab hold of the outside, the shin, or the thigh, or you can actually even just hang out and grab hold of this leg. So you can have a strap as well. Grab a strap, pull it over the leg and hold there, and relax. For some people, if that's not possible because maybe a lot of flesh around the thighs, you can always try and grab hold of the knee. There is another option too, using the wall. So coming up to the wall, taking your left foot up to the wall so you get nice right angle and the knee comes more forward of the hip. You can lift the hips, place the right foot down and drop the tailbone to the ground. You can rest here. If you need more, get closer to the wall. If it's too tight, get further away from the wall. So pick the pose that you are going to feel super contented in, and I'll just get our little timer going. We're going to be in this one on this side for 3 minutes. Get yourself nice and settled, nice and contented. Thread the needle. Now, if you want to make sure you're getting the best out of your stretch on that right side, the right glute area where we get our gallbladder meridian, try and make sure that your knee, that left knee, doesn't roll into the center. Keep it over on the left side of the body. Line it up with your left shoulder. And breathe and soften. So we're going to find a place where we can soften into the whole body. The arms may be using a little bit of effort, but really it's more about counterbalance rather than efforting and drawing those legs towards you. Let's take the first 30 seconds to a minute to find your comfort, to find where you can relax and soften into this pose. And then start to breathe deeply as you release. Now you'll feel the stretch. Your target area here is right here on the glutes, the buttocks of the right leg, if your right leg's the one over the top. And let's find some silence and ease. Remembering you're only looking for the first point of resistance. You're not pushing, you're not forcing, you're surrendering. And then we're going to very gently release the leg out. Take yourself away from the wall if you're there. No, actually stay at the wall because we can do the other side. Sorry, my bad. Stretch out this right leg. Maybe roll the ankle out. Maybe hug it in and extend the left leg down. And then release that leg gently to the floor. Shake them out. And then we will bend. Sorry. Come away from the wall. Before we go to the other side, we're actually going to stretch this whole right side out by coming into our banana pose. So we want to bring our feet together, our arms overhead. If it feels good, you can hold on to the elbows, the wrists, or really the arms can be wherever you like. It's yin. Make it comfortable. And by comfort, you know what I mean. It's like not a restorative pose. It's not relaxation. There's still some challenge. Meanwhile, our heels are going to walk their way over towards the left, and our shoulders are going to walk their way over toward the left, keeping your right hip bone and your right side of your body drawing down into the floor. Experiment with where you want your arms to be. If you find it hard keeping those feet together, you can cross an ankle, and you can again experiment as well to see which cross gives you a better stretch. Remembering in our yin practice that we're looking to stretch, but we're not looking to hold tension in our muscles. So find that muscular softness and allow that stretch to move deeper beyond the superficial muscles into the deep tissue. We're going to be here for 4 whole minutes. So allow yourself to surrender into your banana asana. The magic of a yin practice is really getting into the deep fascia or fascia. I'm not really sure how it's pronounced, but that's a lovely crystalline like webbing that holds our body together, and it runs through everything in our body. It brings the energy through our body. It holds a lot of hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is that stuff that keeps us youthful and young and moisturized. And you can drink as much as you like to hydrate your body, but it's not going to hydrate the tissues the way exercise and yin practice does. Because when we compress and squeeze and stretch our tissues and our muscles, it pushes that hydration into the tissues, keeping them supple, keeping them flexible, keeping them healthy. And when we hang here in our yin poses and we hold these poses in a relaxed way, trying to deepen our stretch as we keep surrendering from one edge to the next edge, we create little micro tears in our tissues, little tiny tears that the body goes about repairing, and when it does, it repairs it stronger, more resilient, more flexible. You can think about your yin practice as your magic fountain of youth. Keep softening. Stay with the sensations in your body. Don't let your mind wander off. Stay. Breathe. Soften. Release. Notice if you're holding tension, let that go. If you feel like the body has released the tightness from that first edge, move a little deeper. Find your next edge and stay there. No tension, no strain. Surrender is your mantra. You can even repeat that to yourself with your breath. Surrender, surrender, surrender. And if you want to go super fancy and use the Sanskrit word swaha, 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 swaha. And that helps us not just to surrender to our body, but it helps us surrender the monkey mind. Less than a minute to go here in your banana. Keep drawing down through that right side gently with gravity. You can always put like a sandbag or an additional comfortable weight onto the hip if you like, that right hip. But man, if you're feeling it, just stay there. There's no need to go hard. Remember, yoga is a journey and it's all about the trip, not the destination itself. And you can gradually start to move your way out from there. Release it out. Oh, yeah. Let's just take a moment before we go into the other side, because that is a big old stretch there. Come into your shavasana, your pentacle pose, feet wide, arms outstretched. Relax, soften. Look for the rebound. That's where we feel the energy moving through the body. That's where we feel maybe the ache, the discomfort. And then we feel it release and dissipate, being replaced with ease. Notice the difference between the two sides of your body, the side that just got stretched and the side that hasn't. Before you drift off into absolute bliss, let's do our other glute. So either taking yourself back to the wall or staying here and finding the variation of thread the needle that works best for your body. 3 minutes here. Take your time. Use that first 30 seconds to a minute to explore where you want to be. And let that right knee hang out on the right side of the body. Don't let it drift in. Don't let it be lazy and roll into the center, because you'll just rob yourself out of a really, really awesome stretch. Soften. No effort. No force. Find that first point of resistance and breathe into it. Halfway there. Are you using your mantra? Release, release, release. blissed out. And we went 20 seconds over, but I'm sure you don't mind. Gently release out from there. Stretch it out. And then we're going to move into our banana on the other side. So feel free to find a little movement if you want to, or just straight over. This time, feet over to the right, shoulders over to the right, left side of the body getting the stretch here. Breathe the left side down to the floor. Hook the feet or don't hook the feet. Arms up or down, or one arm up and one arm down. Find what works for you. Almost there. Continue to release down through the left side. Stay present with the breath and the sensations you're feeling in your body right now. And then very gently release yourself into your pentacle pose, your big, massive shavasana. Release, soften, look for that lovely rebound. Remember, when you're here in your pentacle pose, check in, because sometimes the butt and the legs try to tense up for weird reasons. Soften them out. Release them out. Alright, before you get too blissed out again, we're going to get into those hips a little bit more. So bring your knees in, hug them in, squeeze up, letting the waist decompress. And we'll roll over to our side, whoop, and come on up. So the next thing we're going to move into, let me just readjust my mic, there we go, is a winged dragon. And we're only here for 2 minutes, 1 if it's too intense for you. So right leg first, step your right leg out in front of you, walk it out. It's like a lizard pose. And you could stay here in lizard. Let me face this way, it's probably better. And bring my timer close to me. And of course, we have our trusty blocks, if you need them. Blocks are fabulous, props are fabulous. You can use them to rest down. If it feels comfortable for you, winging that dragon out by rolling to the outside edge of the foot, only if that feels comfortable. That might not work for everyone. It might not be comfortable for your knee or your ankle. So just check in and see where you want to be and start to surrender down. So now we're getting into our liver meridian. My ankle's not pleased. Make sure that wherever your knee is facing, your foot is facing in the same direction. So again, you've got good alignment through your body. You're protecting your joints. And then you can really surrender. If you need some support underneath that back knee, go ahead, cushion it up, blanket it up. If you want to be higher, also totally acceptable. Your body will tell you where you need to be. Breathe into it. We're halfway there already. See how this feels for you as you soften into those left hip flexors. You can drop the head or you can keep it up and roll it around. Just find that place that allows you to be supported by your body without much effort. Alright, that is us for this particular pose on this side. Very gently, take your time, ease your way out. It's like you've aged like 90 years because we hold these poses for much longer than in a normal yoga class. We want to make sure that we're not jarring and shocking the system as we come out. So come out nice and gently, release. What we're going to do is take this leg across the body into our little swan. So find your way into swan. I'll give you some variations if this doesn't work for you. Allow your back leg to be nice and straight. Maybe you need a little cushion underneath this hip. Maybe you need it underneath this thigh. Square those hips up, check that your knee feels comfortable. It depends on your own body as to how high you want your shin to lift. Lifting and lengthening. And as you exhale, you can surrender. Now you can surrender down to blocks, of course. Or you can surrender all the way to the floor if this doesn't work for you. then you can come back to the wall or come back to thread the needle like we did earlier. We're still generally working the same thing, so make sure that feels good for you. But I am going to embrace my pigeonness today, my sleeping swan, and I'm actually going to embrace a block today as well. Actually, I might embrace a bolster because I have them. Another variation that you can do if you're like, I don't want to do thread the needle again, I've done that, is deer pose. So front leg out in front of you, just like you would in swan, back leg out to the side. So my right leg, knee comes straight out from the hip, facing forward. My left leg, knee comes straight out from the hip, facing off to the side. And then the shins come out from there. And you can come down here as well. This is a perfectly good variation, and you're going to get in there, and then it doesn't feel like you're doing the same thing again. I should start that timer. If you've been there for a while, you get bonus stretch. And you know, you never have to be in the pose longer than you feel comfortable. Or you can stay even longer if it does feel good. And this is a much longer hold to before. Keep finding your surrender. You can also there's always room to change and explore your pose. You could walk away from that knee if you wanted to for a little more stretch. If you start to get any tingling or numbness, don't stay there. Come out, ease out, find a different place to be so that it doesn't feel that achy, tingling numbness. When you come out of the tingling comes through, that's fine. That's the energy moving through. But tingling and numbness may mean that you have maybe trapped a nerve or caught something up there. Deep breaths, sigh it out, puff out the mouth if you're feeling challenged here. And then we'll very gently ease ourselves out. gently roll your way out from there. Find a little yang action if you like. Maybe some down dogs if you prefer, or just window wipers. Or we can hammock it out. Oh, find some comfort. Stretch it out. Do what feels good for you. And just a very brief shavasana. Pentacle pose. Again, observing the body. Observing the mind as well. Notice where the mind wanders off to when you're in this space of complete surrender. Observe the breath. Notice the difference between your right and left sides once again. Alright, let's hinge it up. Bring those feet together, hands down by your sides. Hands slightly underneath the body. Lift the legs, lift the head slightly. And we're going to, like a hinge, whoop, boop, hinge ourselves up. Coming onto the other side for our big old winged dragon pose. So come onto your hands and knees. Go ahead, step your left leg out in front of you. Walk it out to the side. Find some comfort. I'm going to use my blocks again because I can. Bring those legs out. Position yourself. Take your time. There's no hurry. Set yourself up for success. And then you can start to roll out onto the foot if that feels comfortable. Don't need to do it. It's only if it feels comfortable. Make sure your knee enjoys it. Sometimes my knee enjoys it. Other times not so much. 2 minutes here. Padding up under the foot if you need to. Padding up under the knee if you need to. Staying up high or coming down even lower. Just gauge, check in, tune in, gauge where you need to be. Almost there. Breathe. And then very gently, roll that foot back in. Release the body and make your way into either your deer pose or your sleeping swan pose, or thread the needle. It's always nice to take your time. Set yourself up, find that comfort, use the props, You can place a blanket cushion under the side if you feel like it needs support, or underneath your buttocks if you feel like they need support, underneath your knees, wherever you need to. I like to lengthen out through that back leg. Check that my back foot sticks out nice and straight to begin with. And I like to draw forward slightly through my right hip, making sure my knee feels comfortable the whole way. We're in this one for 5 minutes. So you can take your time, you can hang out and swan first. Breathing into it. And when you're ready, you can move down, reclining into your sleeping swan. And the reason we use different names for our yin poses that look like they're exactly the same as our yang poses is because the action and the intention is completely different. So we're trying to soften and release, find that muscular softness. We're not trying to force ourselves into any deep stretches here. We're allowing ourselves to surrender, creating the deep stretch. And we're here for ages. It is a very different pose when it's in the yin form. You can explore if you want to move out to the side or stay down the center. And breathe into that breath of surrender. Take your time, remember, you don't have to go, bam, I'm in the pose. That's not at all what it's about. The pose is just a vehicle. It's the journey, the travel, not the destination. It's the journey, really, to get into that pose. Slowly surrendering down, paying attention to how the body's feeling. Paying attention to the shifts in energy, the shifts in musculature, the shifts in tightness through the body. If you go too deep, come out a little bit. Find that first edge, that first point of resistance. Don't go any deeper than that. Let your body guide you there. Let your body give you permission. And above all, find acceptance. Acceptance of where you are today in this pose. Yesterday you may have been deeper. Or maybe today you're deeper. Things change all the time. And change is good. A minute to go. You can move deeper or you can ease up. Deep breaths. Remember, if you're feeling challenged, inhale and exhale strongly. That is it. Ooh, gently, slowly, like you are 108. Ease your way out. Soften the limbs. Feel free to find some yang, down dog, window wipers, or just come on down and find your pentacle pose. Great big massive shavasana. Surrender. Submit. Look for the rebound. Notice how the two sides feel, the difference in the side that's just had that big old stretch. Allow the energy to tingle through that left leg. Maintain awareness of your body. Maybe bring your focus right down to the tips of the toes or the tips of the fingers, the palms of the hands. Notice the energy there. And let's bring those legs together. Hug them in. Roll to your side. Gloop. And make your way up. Next, more in the old hippies. We're going to move into our shoelace pose. So one way you can get into it, crossing the left leg underneath us, right leg over the top, stacking the knees. Easier way to get into it, coming onto all fours, bringing your we're doing right leg first, right leg over the top, so that our knees are nice and stacked. And then think about when you do that, I'll show you from this side, making space through the legs, because what you want to do is sit between those heels. And you might need to sit yourself right up onto a block. So sitting onto a block will give you space. You can tilt yourself forward on that block and you've got space to sit there. If you find that you're in this position and this leg is like, hello, that's not going to give you the results that we're looking for. So just do a half one instead, extending out your left leg in front and taking that right leg over the top. Shift the flesh away again, sit the hips up if you need to, and hang here. Let me just get into posiciones, and we're going to hang out. Where's my timer? In our lovely shoelace pose with a lateral stretch. So let's start off, if the right leg's over the top, right arm comes over the top, and let's stretch out to the side. Now you could rest down onto a block or onto your hand, or right down onto the floor. Depends how you feel. You can gaze down, you can gaze up, you can gaze straight ahead. Again, depends how you feel. There's a little bit of yang here, a little bit of yin and yang. Breathe. Just for a minute. Nothing too epic. Ten seconds to go. And then we're going to swap and go to the other side. Block or no block. Completely up to you. Other side, you can have the hand. Rise up. You could come down to the ground completely, or be kind to yourself and use a block if you want to. Make sure your knees feel okay. And inhale, breathe the body up. Not done yet. We're going to now come forward, and there may be no forward for you. You may just be sitting up nice and tall. If you're sitting up nice and tall, treat yourself. Bring your fingers between those toes. In fact, you can do this when you come forward as well. It's a nice way to stretch out the connective tissue between our toes. So get in there, hold hands with your foot. Inhaling through the spine, maybe stay here, or with each exhalation, gently exploring the breath. If you need the support of the hands, go ahead, bring the hands forward. I'll just shift myself more into frame. Each exhalation giving you permission to come down. And you can experiment. You might want to come down over one side or the other. Depends where the stretch feels the best for your body. You can also bring that head to a block if you want to. Stay with the breath. Stay with the sensations you're feeling. Breathe in love. Breathe out all that no longer serves you. Breathe in love. Send it through your tissues. And breathe out all of the negativity, all of the stress, the anxieties. Try to release any muscular effort, any deep clenching in the muscles there. Soften into them. Let them stretch out organically. And that is us. Oh, 5 minutes in our shoelace. Gently ease up. To exit, be kind. Give your legs some support. Gently lift it out. Yeah. There we go. Lift the other one out. Feel free to window wiper those legs. Sometimes it's nice just to push up into that outer hip. So good. Stretch out if that feels good. Open up the heart. Because we're going to do the other side. So when you're ready, coming up to your hands and knees and taking the left over right, or just swapping. Depends how it feels for you. Now remember, right leg extends if you're in this weird position and everything is all high up. Just extend that right leg out instead and allow the legs to try and stack, the knees to try and stack. Lift the hips if you need to. Do it. Don't not do it. No one's watching you. So treat yourself right. And even when people are watching you, treat yourself right. Use those props. Use those props. I can't stress it enough to my classes. All right, let's see how we feel here. We're just sitting into it, feeling into it, noticing if we need to prop up our hips. They feel tight for sure today. Left arm extends. Oh, let me start the timer. 5 minutes from now. Exhale, come over just a minute over to this side. And I'm enjoying my block today. And surrender into that. Let that stretch move up from the side of the body, the hip, all the way to the fingers. Gaze down, gaze up, gaze to the side, move out the neck if you need to. Release the thoughts of things that you need to get done. Just sit with yourself here, right now. Enjoy. Gently release that. I might have blissed into that a little too long, but that's all good. Let's come to the other side. And release over. Breathe deeply. Connect to yourself. Connect to those feelings, the physical feelings as well as the energetic and emotional feelings. We're working our hips a lot today, so you might find that that brings up some stuff. And release out. Wow, my hips are talking to me big time. And then coming either down through the center, or you can experiment coming from one side to the other. Keep drawing yourself back to the present moment if you've wandered away. We've only got another minute and a half here.
for the shoelace section. Again, very, very gently lift those legs. Oh, release them out slowly with kindness, with compassion for yourself. You're going to feel so good over the next few days. Right now you may be feeling like you're being a little tortured, but you're going to feel so good. Alrighty, we do have one more on the hips, and then we've got a twist and we're all done. So stretch everything out, lengthen, down dog if you want to. See how you feel. I'm feeling like I need a bit of a hammock. So you can come onto all fours, lift, see how that feels. Now, double pigeon, square pose. This is really good to stretch out the hips as well. What we want to do is have a cross-legged position, but we want our knees and our ankles to be stacked with each other. And we want our shins to be parallel to the top edge of our mat. You may need to sit yourself up onto a block, or if none of that works for you, easy cross-legged. Do that instead. But if you can join me in your square pose, your double pigeon fire log. This is the easy version, by the way. Our ankles and our knees in line with each other, which means that the knees are in a lot closer than in a normal cross-legged position, and they're dissecting each other, intersecting each other right at the center of the shin, more or less, depends how you're built, but really we want to find this alignment here. For those of you that have quite open hips and you are actually quite comfortable in full fire log or double pigeon, square pose, whatever you want to call it, you can stack knee and ankle. Now you can see my hips have been doing a lot of glute strengthening, so they're not very happy with opening up. Now I could be here if I wanted to, and then I could give them some support. And I would sit here for a long time until they started to surrender. And then I would gently, like I could step up the block, gently bring it out, slowly give it other kind of support until it decides to descend down. But I'm not going to battle my ego and try and do that today. I'm just going to go into the nice, easy double pigeon. And we're only here for 3 minutes anyway. So get into cross leg, easy double pigeon, or stacking those legs, double pigeon, fire log, square pose. Stack the hips if you need to on top of something. Maybe you're just sitting up here and maybe that is it. That is you for the next 3 minutes. However, you might find that you might want to lean forward. You might find that with each exhalation, your body starts to give you more permission to move deeper into that stretch. Keep your feet flexed as best you can so that the knees are comfortable. And begin to surrender. And once more, good old block can come and support the head. You can start to release the feet, release the muscles, release the effort. Finding that first point of resistance always. And allowing it to shift and move. And then waiting for the signal to find the next. can gently deepen your breath. Inhale. Exhale through the mouth. It's really good to use that side to allow you to come out and allow you to get deeper. And gently, ease yourself out. We're going to release. Stretch those legs. Window wiper them out. See how they feel. And I think before we go into the other side, let's take a little pause and come into a child's pose with the knees tucked under us, to allow these hip flexors to get a little rest, release down. Before you zone out completely, let's get the other side. This is the last of our epic hip stretches. Left shin out in front, unless you did it the other way before. Unless you did it this way before. Shift the sit bones. Check in. See if you need to sit up on anything. This side, again, could be completely different. So you might want to choose simple cross-legged, or you might want to choose the full-on fire log pose. But here we go. 3 minutes. Take your time. Enjoy the journey. Or sit up the whole time and breathe. gently start to ease your way out from here. And then before we finish, we have one twist. Twisted roots. Gently release your legs out. Rock them out. And again, we'll come into that easy little child's pose. Feel free to press into a down dog if that feels divine. And then when you're ready, dropping yourself down. Child's pose. Whoops, I'm getting really zenned out here. It's awesome. Release down. Inhale. One more. Twisted roots onto your back. And we're in our twisted roots for 5 minutes each side. Lined out. Twisted roots is pretty intense for the spine. So if you find it too intense for you, shift my mic stuff out of the way. If you find it too intense, just a nice easy twist is fine. Like you can knees to the sky. This is the easy version. Shift your hips over to the right, lift the knees, drop and gaze any direction you like, really. But if you can allow your shoulders to come to the floor, that's lovely. If you want to go deeper into that twist, then we are going to extend our legs up. Left leg over the top, and then either they can just stack here or you can curl them up. That's the twisty roots. Bring those knees in towards your chest. Shift your hips over towards the left side. Up. And then drop your knees down towards the right. So the left leg is the thing that's over the top, twisting up, and that's the knee that comes down to the floor. And then release. 5 minutes, y'all. Enjoy. Or just an easy twist is all good. This is pretty intense. Try and release that muscular tension. If your muscles are trying to grip and grab, try and soften them out. Keep checking in with the legs, the shins, the buttocks. Soften, soften, soften. Boy, I'm quite hungry now.
Less than a minute to go here. How you feeling? And really your arms can be wherever you like here. They don't have to be stretched out. They could be by your side. One could be up or one could be down. We're going to gently uncurl ourselves, untangle, release, slowly come out. Shift your hips back to center, roll a little and extend into your pentacle pose. Arms out to the side, legs wide. Rest for 60 seconds or so. And then let's bring ourselves back to the world for a moment. Bending those knees, and remember you can shift your hips over to the right now, hug the knees in, just drop them over, stacked to the side. Or if you're happy to twist yourself up again, right leg over the top and maybe just roll them in like that, or you can tangle those legs up. Shift your hips to the right, drop the legs to the left, arms wherever you like. And release. Oh, where do I want my arms? I don't know just yet. I'll figure it out. And start to soften. Checklist. Are my feet relaxed? Are my shins, calf muscles, knees relaxed? Are my thighs? Are my buttocks? Are my hips relaxed? Is my face relaxed? Soften, soften, soften.
don't drift off to sleep just yet. We're still staying with the sensations in our body. We're still listening to the breath, noticing how we're feeling. As the body softens into it, then you can start to open out and find more challenge. Almost there. 20 seconds to go. You can start to gently unwind yourself out. Take your time. There is never any rush in your yin. Gently release back to center. Rock your legs out. Feel free to stretch if you want to. Maybe drop into a little reclined butterfly for a little inner thigh opening, a little liver meridian targeting. See how that feels. Maybe you want to stay here for another 5 minutes and then come into shavasana. Or if you're just done, extend those legs out. Shavasana, child's pose. You can sit up and meditate for the next 10, 20 minutes if you like. Release into your ultimate relaxation pose. Let it go. If all of that hip work has brought up some deep-seated emotions and you don't know where it's come from, have a little cry. Just let it go, let it out, let it wash over you. Allow yourself to be cleansed by shifting those old memories from the body. And breathe in love. Send yourself love. Appreciate your toes, appreciate your feet. Appreciate your ankles, your knees, your hips, your buttocks. Appreciate your belly. Appreciate your chest, your arms. If you do struggle with weight, go to the mirror in your yoga clothes. Look at yourself and look at your belly and touch your belly and say, I love you. I love you, thank you for nourishing me, for feeding me, for keeping me strong. Touch your hips and say, I love you. I love you, thank you for the strength and the power that you hold, for holding those emotions that I no longer need and now releasing them. Touch your face, touch the lines on your face and say, I love you, thank you for the joy, the sorrow, the laughter, the experiences we've shared together. Touch your feet, say, I love you, thank you. Touch anything that bothers you and embrace it, embrace you. And say, I love you, thank you. And tell yourself why that's important to you. Your chest, your heart, your buttocks. They all serve a purpose and they're all perfect. As you embrace yourself and you fall in love with yourself, you'll find that weight just goes.
because you've shed it mentally, so the body no longer needs to hold it. And if you don't, maybe you're on the other end of the spectrum and you find it hard to put on weight and you're super skinny and you don't like being that way. Embrace it, your rib cage, your bones. I love you, thank you. My beautiful skeleton that holds me up and is so strong and takes me places. All right, enough talking from me. Relax and release completely into your shavasana. It's your time for bliss. No more struggling into those poses. Hopefully you weren't, but I know sometimes they can be pretty intense. Release all intensity. Rest into self-love, appreciation and gratitude. Stay here as long as you need to. Let your body completely heal, rejuvenate. I'm going to leave you now. Thank you so much for joining me. If you really love this practice, share it around so someone else can enjoy it too. Thank you so much for being part of the Yoga Pantry. I love you. Thank you. Namaste.